All other questions will be answered in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Coded Sleep Dream Drop HD Chain of Memories Days 358 Final Mix 2 Remix Dream Drop Distance.
I'm Viral Vinnie, this is Kingdom Hearts 3, and this is Recent Review. So, I'm going to start this off by making it abundantly clear that I have been a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. I've been a fan from day one. I've played every game in this series. I'm super hyped. It's one of my favorite games of a series of all time. So that is somewhat going to skew my opinions a bit, and I'm going to be looking at more so as someone who has been a fan for so long, as opposed to how is it for newcomers and all the other stuff. And I'm also just going to be looking at it in terms of how is the game that we got. I'm not taking the years of development into context. I'm not thinking about like how the other games set it up. It's purely specifically just how is this game that we got here in this moment now. And I gotta say, it's fantastic. It is one of my favorites in the series. I'm still going back and forth even right now as I process it. There's like, it's top 2. I know that. It's definitely top 2. I'm so close to calling it my number 1. I just need more time to kind of stew and reflect and kind of actually parse out my thoughts to go like, is the ending as good as I think it is, or is it just because I'm such a huge fan and this is just fan service overload that, you know, maybe the hype moments are kind of influencing my opinions and the game's only just okay or anything like that. But I still think it's a fantastic game in terms of the combat and mechanics. It's more of the same, nothing too crazy, as it would probably be the, you know, the reaction command type stuff that it does take a little bit to get to used to, but it does make combat a lot more fresh and varied, that like it's not just attacking or magic. You have these other spells and stuff to fall back on. And I didn't find them too overpowering. They were just enough to kind of wipe a large swath of enemies, but they weren't like super overpowered that the second you activated one, it was like an insta-kill. But it was good, and then the free running stuff, and being able to run over certain walls and railings and stuff like that, the whole flow motion stuff, it works really good, and it's good for traversal and all that stuff. It just, I personally never figured out how to use flow motion in combat, so it's just kind of this, again, another extra layer that's nice and gives you variety, but you don't really need to progress through the rest of the game. But it's a good game. The levels are good. The ability to swap between different keyblades is appreciated, but again, it's not needed because at the end of the day, the keyblades don't really affect that much. It does allow you to use different transformations. So like if you get bored of a certain keyblade, you can kind of swap over to another one, and that way at least freshens it up. But in terms of like how you tackle enemies or stuff like that, it's not like, oh well, this one I need the magic keyblade, and this one I need the one with more damage. It's like, no, you just swap between them all until you get bored, and you go to another one, and you go back to the first one. It really does not add that much. No, the big thing with this game is the story. And for the first, you know, something I do like about this game is it answers questions. Kingdom Hearts has always had this thing of like, alright, well, teasing and what does this mean, what does this mean? Like, it's very much, okay, this is what this means. Like, it just goes down the list, like, bullet point, alright, this answers, this answer, this is answer, this is answer, all this other stuff. So in terms of that, it is really good because after 9 games, it does feel like, oh, we're getting answers. There's no more teases, there's no more setups. Like, this is the payoff to all the stuff we've done before in the other games. And that's what I was speaking to a little bit of before, because I know there's the collections and all that, and like the stuff you can do to tweak the different, or sorry, not to tweak, but to get caught up with the different videos and the memory archives. But I don't know how well that's gonna get you caught up, because they go into like some nitty gritty stuff. Like they reference Back Cover, which I thought was a god awful movie and was awful, and like I've told most people in the lead up to Kingdom Hearts 3, skip it, you don't need it, all you need to know is the Master of Master. And now that we've seen 3 and we have the context, it's like, oh, there's a lot in that story that they're actually referencing and they're talking and they're like making points about that you need to see back cover. So it's one of those things, I think diehard fans are going to be absolutely happy and ecstatic to see all the answers and the plot lines resolved. But new players are just going to be absolutely lost. And again, I haven't checked out those videos and the catch-up material, so I can't speak to how well it would get someone prepped, but I feel like no, unless you've been on this journey, unless you've played every game in the series, it's not going to have the same impact and the same, like, oomph, like, going for you. But the main thing is, the game is just, the way I described it, when I was starting to reflect about it, is like, this game is what what the Guns of the Patriots is to Metal Gear. This game is just one big fan service, and there is like a ton of moments where it's like, oh my god, I love that, I love that, I love that. Like if I were to do a top 10 favorite moments from the franchise, like the first 8 are gonna be from this game, because there's so many moments where I'm like, oh, they did that, and they did that, and they did that, and they did that, and like, just like I said, seeing so many stuff happen and everything come to close, like it's really emotional. It really gets to you. It's very intense and all that. And as a Kingdom Hearts fan, I loved it. It was fantastic. It was everything I wanted for. That being said, it is Kingdom Hearts 3, which I know a lot of people have problem processing. This is not the greatest game of all time. This is not like, oh, the game we've been waiting 10 years for. It's not like, oh, all that development time. No, this plays what I imagine Kingdom Hearts 3 would have played up. It's slightly more polished, more better looking Kingdom Hearts 2. And because of that, like, it is kind of weird that there's no real major gameplay tweak or anything insanely different in terms of that. It's just, this is more Kingdom Hearts. But at the end of the day, I loved it. It was super emotional, super engaging. I loved it as a fan. I thought it was great. It's a great, fantastic way to end a series. I'm so happy to have seen the ending. It's everything I could have wanted for. But yeah, it's, again, this is Kingdom Hearts 3. This is the ninth part of a series, and you have to understand that going in. And I don't think it will have the same impact if you've only played 1 or 2, or even like this is your first game in the series.